What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Incursions finally released yesterday to be tested out not only on the PC side but as well the PS4 and Xbox platforms. And with this new update, they've as well introduced a few little changes that I want to make mention about from my original video where I went through all of the classes on the Incursions game mode and kind of showed their weapons and what their perks were, and DICE has tweaked a little things and I want to kind of highlight that, so if you check out that video you get a better accurate representation of what we got going on for us right now. So from the devs live stream yesterday, they confirmed that it has moved out of its alpha stage and now it's in the beta stage of testing. So do take that in consideration, as DICE is still making changes to what they're doing here. So I will link the survey down in the comments below, so be sure to check that out after you get some time to try out Incursions. But let's check out some of the little changes that they have done since they have re-uploaded Incursions for us to test out. So the first one I want to highlight here, and probably one of the more interesting ones that could lead into more discussions about things that DICE is going to be doing coming up here in the future, is the Raid Leaders kit. So originally when we were trying this out on the alpha phase, there were no weapons from the DLCs that were being implemented into Incursions, but after this recent upload, they have the Ribioles as a weapon for the Raid Leader to use. So that was originally not like this, and they only had the base game weapons available for the different kits. But yes, we're now getting able to use the Ribioles for the Raid Leader as of right now in this build of Incursion. So definitely brings up some questions about what will be going on here. We do know that DICE did want to make Incursions available for everyone who had the base version of the game, where you wouldn't need the DLCs to access this. But now that they're actually putting DLC weapons into this, begs the question of what else they're going to be doing when it comes to these DLCs, if they're going to be, releasing them out free for everyone soon, or what exactly is going on here. But definitely some interesting stuff. Now, alongside the changes of the addition to the Ribioles to this kit, DICE has changed the first ability, which originally was Enemy Regret, where any bullet damage you were receiving would spot the enemy player, and that has now been changed to Steel Resolve, which reduces incoming suppression. Moving on to the Control Leader, where DICE has changed up two of the abilities. The first being the first ability, where originally you could have teammates spawn on you if you were not taking incoming damage or suppression during the last 15 seconds. DICE has changed that to 10 seconds now. Alongside the third ability, where originally it was situational awareness, where enemies within a small radius will be revealed on your mini-map, but now that's not the case. Now it's quick unspot, where spots on you decay faster, so you're not on spot as long as you normally would be. Now everything else is basically the same with this kit. Still got that smoke curtain for that second ability that I'm still very impressed with how heavy that smoke can be laid down. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff going on with the Control Leader. The third one here is Proximity Recon, where DICE actually changed up quite a bit. One of the first things that I noticed is the gadget for the tripwire high explosive is no longer there, and instead it is anti-tank mine. Now you can lay 6 of these on the battlefield at any given time, and they did go along to change up all of the abilities. The first original ability was Come Closer, where the recons placed gadgets will spot enemies around them. Now that's not the case. Now they have Hasty Retreat, where sprint 20% faster while under suppression. And now I did notice when the decoys were dropped that there was a smaller radius, but it did seem to spot enemy players. Not sure if maybe they were moving a little bit, if that's the reason why they get highlighted to be on spot on the mini map, but I did notice that it's not quite as large of a radius that you'll see on your mini map as where it was previously on the alpha build, but it is there. DICE also changed the second ability, where originally you could spot enemy player and you would get that red chalk line around the full body of that enemy player. Now that's no longer the case. Now they have what's called proxy capture, where your decoys will assist allies with capturing objectives. So essentially, I guess that's when you're kind of adding an extra body onto the capture point to cap the territory. And then finally, the third one that they changed here originally was Eyes On, which would spot enemy players that you target, but they've changed it now to the Pilfer ability, which in this case, any melee kill will cause the victim to drop you ammo. So not quite the Pilfer that we see in the base game, where each class drops you a different type of gadget. But in this case, you will see gadgets being dropped, but no matter what kit you kill by melee, they will drop you some supply ammo. Moving on to the Shock Assault, where they did a similar thing here. Again, changing out the tripwire and now giving a anti-tank mine instead. You're still able to lay 6 of these on the battlefield at the exact same time. Because of this, they changed up the second ability, where originally your incendiary tripwire would also become a high explosive tripwire, but now since you don't have any tripwires as one of your gadgets, the second ability will reduce incoming suppression. Moving on to the Combat Sniper, where DICE changed the second ability, which originally was Steel Resolve, that reduced the incoming suppression, but now it has been changed to Sprint, that increases your sprint speed by 10%. And finally, when it comes to both the vehicle operators, the Tank Hunter variant now has the ability to drop anti-tank mines. So originally, the second ability for both of the vehicle operators would unlock the light machine gun for the Tank Hunter, but now you're actually able to unlock anti-tank mines that operate the exact same way as I showed you with the other kits, where you're able to drop 6 of these on the battlefield at any given time. Now, originally in the alpha mode, they didn't, I don't think, had a third ability for this specific tank, but now the third ability is the light machine gun. So instead of unlocking the light machine gun at the second ability, it will now be available on the third ability. They did change up a little bit of stuff when it comes to one of the vehicle operators though. The Demolition Driver, they swapped the first 2 abilities. Originally they had Logistics as the first ability you would be able to unlock, that would increase the respawn rate by 15%, and then the second ability would be Tough Parts, which would make your vehicle unbreakable and drivable no matter what the health values are. Now what they did here is they just swapped that all around. So the first ability you'll unlock is the Tough Parts, and then the second ability will be the Logistics, that allows you to have a 15% reduced time of the spawn rate for your vehicle. So they did still keep the third ability intact, so it's still explosive cargo that turns your vehicle into a bomb the moment you exit it. So definitely a pretty cool ability in my opinion. Definitely some pretty cool stuff they got going on here, but that's basically the things I noticed that they changed. If I hadn't mentioned any of the other kits, that's because they are still, from what I saw, the same from what they were on the alpha build. But that's basically a run through of what we got going on for us here. Again, keep in mind this is still all in its beta testing phase, so still could have changes coming up here in the future. Be sure to definitely fill out that survey in the comments down below. And that's it for you guys today. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin', and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.